Evening, everyone. Welcome to The Next Revolution. We are pro-worker, pro-family, pro-community, and especially pro-America. Well, here we go again. Self-righteous, sanctimonious Democrats with their endless lectures about diversity and equity and inclusion, calling everyone else racist at the drop of a hat, disagree with their pro-crime lunacy, you're a racist, challenge their climate zealotry, racist. If you order the wrong thing at dinner, you're probably a racist. But yet again, we see that whatever they accuse everyone else of, they're guilty of the exact same thing and worse. Los Angeles City Council, America's second largest city, run by Democrats for decades, now engulfed in a racism scandal of their own making. As they always say, when they tell you who they are, believe them. Nury Martinez, president of the council, here's what she thinks of Mexican Americans, quote, a lot of little, short, dark people who are, quote, so ugly. The adopted black son of one of her colleagues, quote, a little monkey who needed a beatdown. His father, who's gay, she called a little bitch. So it's homophobia, too, from these people who never stop waving the rainbow flags. Koreans, Armenians, practically the whole city came in for some kind of bigoted slur. You'd think that the minute these despicable remarks were made public, these people would resign. But no. For 3 days, Martinez tried to cling to power and her $200,000 salary. The other council members enmeshed in this filth, still there. Have they no shame? No, they don't. Because they truly have convinced themselves of their moral superiority, regardless of what they say, regardless of what they do. Revealed this week, Mr. Moralizer in Chief, the most sanctimonious of them all, Obama, with his very own deplorables moment behind closed doors in June, disgracefully smearing Republicans to a global audience. Quote, sometimes it just turns out they're mean, they're racist, they're sexist, they're angry. Can you believe it? The pure, undiluted hatred and contempt for his fellow Americans, the ones he pretended to represent. This appalling man, this cynical fraud, who shot to fame and glory with a speech about no such thing as red states and blue states, just the United States, now descending into the absolute gutter with vile, sweeping, divisive cultural stereotyping. This complete charlatan calling Republicans mean and racist when his own party's leaders, Democrat leaders, call Mexicans dark and ugly and compare black children to monkeys. Shame on Obama, shame on the Democrats, shame on these people who use racism and sexism and homophobia as a political weapon, but do nothing to confront it in their own ranks. Biden in Los Angeles on Wednesday, yucking it up with Nancy Pelosi for a donor cash at a fundraiser. If Biden had any integrity, any decency, he wouldn't have set foot in the city his party besmirched, unless the racist Democrats resigned. But is it any wonder he refused to confront them? Birds of a feather do flock together.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. To fully, I'm not joking.
I mean, you got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice-looking guy.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Those remarks aren't gaffes. It's who Biden is. Anyone who can speak like that, like the Democrats on LA City Council, has a racist mindset. That's why Democrats have been so pathetic about all this. California Governor Gavin Newsom with some weaselly, flaccid statement that didn't even suggest the racists resign. We all know perfectly well that if a Republican called Mexicans ugly and a young black kid a monkey, Newsom would be putting up billboards in Florida and preening in front of every passing TV camera. But when it's his corrupt Democrat cronies in his own backyard, barely a whisper. And speaking of corruption, in the meeting that was leaked, Democrat council members, along with a union leader, were plotting and scheming to gerrymander districts along racial lines. What's a union leader doing? Drawing up election districts. What happened to all those high-minded lectures about protecting our democracy? Don't they endlessly accuse Republicans of gerrymandering? Of course they do, because they always accuse others of the exact thing that they do. Just this week, after years of non-stop hyperventilating over election meddling and foreign interference, we learn that they went to a foreign country and asked it to interfere in our midterms. Something truly sickening has infected this current generation of Democrat leaders. Gone are the days when you could disagree over policy but respect each other's integrity. They don't believe that anyone is good or decent or well-meaning or principled but themselves. You heard it from Obama. They think anyone on the other side is racist, sexist, mean and angry. Well, yeah, actually, we are angry. Angry that these hateful, divisive Democrats have so debased our civic discourse. Angry that they've turned politics into a perpetual, rage-filled war. And perhaps above all, angry at their brazen double standards and hypocrisy on race, on democracy, on everything. Tell us what you think at NextRevFNC and at Steve Hilton X, and share this message when we post it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.